A dawn in the city of Pune. 30 minutes of morning walk. "20 minutes of pranayam. 40 minutes of yoga. 15 minutes of laughter therapy. 10 minutes of meditation. 6 minutes of fibrous diet. 4 minutes of an isotonic beverage. 90 minutes of workouts. 60 minutes of swimming. The recipe for Puneites to stay healthy and live long. For them, health is wealth. Pune, or Punya Nagari as it was called, has a glorious past of nearly 600 years, both illustrious and romantic. This is the city of Chhatrapati Shivaji, city that Dadaji Konddev, Shivaji's mentor, developed. A Deccan plateau, 2,500 meters above sea level, surrounded by rivers, hills, valleys, historic forts, and renowned educational and professional institutions. Rapid urbanization, increasing employment opportunities, brought immigrants from rural Maharashtra and all over the country as well, proportionately increasing the housing needs of the city. Most of these immigrant families satisfied their housing needs by settling down in whatever vacant land they found, converting more than 35% of Pune into illegal housing or slum areas. In all, over 500 such slum pockets laden with unsanitary and unhygienic conditions, bringing diseases, illness, and other hazards not only to the slum dwellers but to all of the city of Pune, were created. When a small child took his first steps, learning to walk, he had thorn to guide his path, and solid waste and human refuse to catch his fall. He had memories of stomach aches, sleepless nights due to diarrhea, running out in the open, stepping into puddles of urine, treading through heaps of household waste, dumps of garbage. Walking around with flies sticking to his feet. How would these children hope to live and stay alive, let alone stay healthy? Each morning, women collected drinking water for the family. With a bucket of clean water on her head, she would walk through the same waterside which she and her neighbors used as open toilets and waste dumps. As in most houses, here too, each day the woman of the house worked hard to feed her family a good and healthy meal. Her children played outside, building dream houses and singing songs. But how far would these efforts go? Living far below the line of minimal sanitary requirements for a healthy, wholesome life. This was the reality here. Men, women, and children would come out with their small buckets. If they were lucky, they got an unused spot, or else, either way, they just squat with their feet deep into whatever it is, refuse or trash or dirt, to do what they needed to do. Not bothered by the numerous flies hovering around them, sifting from one dump to another, carrying viruses and infections from one man to another. Ailments and maladies had become a part of their lives. This is the reason why Puneites were attacked by life-threatening diseases many times in the past. Cries of redemption came from every heart. Their call was answered by dedicated and concerned officers of the Pune Municipal Corporation. To assess and judge the conditions of the slum dwellers, and in order to draw up ideal schemes and plans to wipe out the plight of these citizens, officials from the PMC personally went door to door of each slum site. To get a true picture of the prevalent conditions, a meeting was called where the inhabitants of the community were asked to voice their needs. After doing due and detailed study of their requirements, the PMC decided to first solve the need for sanitation and hygiene. PMC's attempt for improved sanitary conditions for these areas was not new. The intention was always there. But now it seemed that the earlier projects lacked some. Along with lack of water and electricity in these areas, these officials identified that in some slum areas, one toilet seat served more than 300 individuals a day, when the accepted norm set by the Urban Development Department was one seat for every 50 individuals. It seemed that in spite of number of schemes for slum areas, the basic access to decent sanitary conditions was a dream for these people.
मिशन का टारगेट होगा 3 महीना, तो 3 महीने के अंदर हमें सब ये 300 टॉयलेट्स कंप्लीट आपसे करने हैं।
होने के बाद साइट पर मटेरियल आने के साथ अगर 30% एडवांस दे दिया जाए,
आपका मटेरियल भी उधर
To rescue these wretched aspirations, in the year 2000, the Slum Sanitation Project was chartered.
आज हम जो आपको दिए गए काम हैं उनका रिव्यू लेना चाहते हैं। तो हर एक संस्था ने अपना
In this, PMC officials prepared detailed specifications for a phase-wise project. A budget of 400 million rupees was assigned to build toilets using latest technologies and materials. It was decided that the municipal corporation will set standards for the works and provide funds, water and electricity. Instead of assigning work orders to toilet construction agencies, NGOs that were already working with slum areas were asked to participate in the projects. Advertisements were issued in the newspapers inviting them to come forward and make bids for undertaking the job of designing, construction and maintenance of toilet blocks for the next 30 years. Different NGOs came with different approaches, the crux of which was new blocks will be constructed in place of the old blocks. Number of toilets will vary from 10 to 60 depending upon the area's population. Toilets will also include urinals and bathrooms. Toilets will have special areas for children. Toilets will be kept open at night. Toilets to be cleaned and maintained for 30 years by the NGO. Water and electricity to be provided by the local authority. Slum residents to pay 20 rupees per month per household. A caretaker with on-premises accommodation facility for him. Norms set up for timely construction and proper disbursement of funds to NGOs. Brick by brick, dreams of these slum dwellers started to materialize. The dream to live in sanitary surroundings and hygienic conditions. The dream for good health and quality life. To satisfy the need of the population, extra toilets distributed on 2 floors were also constructed where required. In all, 220 toilet blocks with a seat capacity of 3,438 units were built in the first phase. Another 198 toilet blocks with a seat capacity of 3,520 units were constructed in the second phase.
सर जैसा कि हमें फर्स्ट फेज में 300 टॉयलेट ब्लॉक्स प्रायोरिटी बेसिस पे डीएम डेवलपमेंट एंड रिकंस्ट्रक्शन बेसिस पर जो हम सब एनजीओ को मिलकर स्टार्ट करना है, हमारे सर्वे के अनुसार कि हमें कुछ सुविधाएं हैं जो पुणे म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन और वार्ड ऑफिस की तरफ से मिलनी चाहिए। हमारे सर्वे के अनुसार जैसे टाइम बाउंड प्रोग्राम है, उसके अंदर अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ स्पेस दैट इज द टॉप मोस्ट प्रायोरिटी।
The government of Maharashtra evolved and strictly implemented a monitoring scheme so that the deadlines of the project could be met. Weekly meetings were held in the municipality to review the work under progress.
ऐसा है कि आपको पानी चाहिए, पानी मिल सकता है। जिस दिन आप चालू करेंगे उसके पहले दिन हमारा वाटर टैप आएगा। जिस दिन आपको डिसलचिंग करना है उसके उसी दिन आप वार्ड ऑफिसर से फोन करिए, 1 घंटे के अंदर डिसलचिंग के लिए कंटेनर आ पाएगा।
Zealous officials carefully and diligently worked towards the success of the project. By regularly visiting the construction sites and following each and every step, these committed officials of PMC made sure that the needs of the slum dwellers were met within the specific time period. Not only care was taken to build properly scientifically accredited toilets, but also attention was given to set up a system so that improved hygienic conditions prevail. An NGO named Spark had come up with an innovative feature in designing the toilet blocks by building special squatting areas for children to maintain cleanliness and hygiene in the vicinity. It had stopped the slum children to squat in open area around toilet blocks and foul up the surroundings. Some NGOs had also provided Western water closets or commodes for the aged and the handicapped.
पुणे शहर में पहले 15-20 साल पहले हमने एक्वा प्रीवी टाइप के टॉयलेट्स बनाए थे जो सार्वजनिक शौचालय कहलाते थे। उसमें ड्रेनेज सिस्टम अलग नहीं था, ड्रेनेज लाइन नहीं था, सेप्टिक टैंक था और सेप्टिक टैंक का मैला बार बार निकालना पड़ता था। तो उससे आजू बाजू के लोगों को गंदगी महसूस करनी पड़ती थी, बदबू आती थी। इसलिए हमने वो टॉयलेट्स डिमोलिश करके सुलभ पद्धति के नए टॉयलेट बनाने का प्रस्ताव तैयार किया। सुलभ पद्धति के जो शौचालय है इसमें हमने ऐसा चेंज किया है कि ऊपर केयर टेकर रूम लिया है, जिसकी वजह से वो केयर टेकर जो है वो 24 घंटा इधर रह सकता है और नीचे जो टॉयलेट है उसमें साफ़ सफाई कर सकता है। नीचे हमने लेडीज़ और जेंट्स के लिए अलग अलग ये बनाया है, टॉयलेट्स बनाए हैं। एक साइड लेडीज़ का है और वो साइड जेंट्स के लिए है। उधर हमने कोलैप्सिबल गेट भी बनाया है, अगर किसी वजह से वो बंद करना हो, ख़राब हो गया हो तो वो बंद कर सकता है। और इसका जो ड्रेनेज सिस्टम है वो सिस्टम भी अच्छी तरह से बनाया है हमने। इसका जो आउटलेट है वो डायरेक्ट चेंबर में आता है। चेंबर से हमने जो मेन चेंबर सीवर ट्रैप बनाया है उधर आता है और उधर से वो मेन ड्रेनेज लाइन में जाता है। इसकी वजह से जो मैला है वो डायरेक्ट ड्रेनेज लाइन में जाने की वजह से लोगों को जो बदबू वगैरह आती है, तकलीफ़ होती है, बाजू के लोग उधर रह नहीं सकते हैं, उनका वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गया है।
The toilets were built effectively, meeting all deadlines. But the actual aim of the PMC officers to bring about sanitation and hygiene to these slum areas was yet to be accomplished. To achieve this, the first step was to spread awareness for the need for sanitary surroundings and hygienic conditions among the target recipients.
सफेद रंगोलियां डालते और ये दीदी ने क्या कर डाला, ये अपने पिचकारी से पूरी काली काली रंगोली डाल दी। दीदी ये किसने किया? अपने इस अभियान को हम मंजिल बनाएंगे, अपने इस अभियान को हम मंजिल बनाएंगे, घर शहर बस्ती में से गंदगियों को हटाएंगे।
To motivate them, street plays pertaining to local conditions were organized. Its characters and lore brought magnitude to the need. After bringing awareness, it was time to fulfill the need of the area. The toilets were built. Now came sanitation of the surrounding and its garbage disposal. For this, green and white buckets were provided by the Slum Sanitation Project. Green for wet garbage and white for dry. So as to keep the area clean and disinfected, a centralized area to dump this trash in was defined. The efforts of officials had ushered an era of hope. It was the result of community participation. The prospective inhabitants realized about its impact. The success was phenomenal. The project had redefined the life of the slum dwellers of Pune. It looked as the bliss enjoyed by beneficiaries got glued to the breeze.
ऐरणीच्या देवा तुला थिंगी थिंगी वाहू दे, आभाळागत माया तुझी आम्हावरी राहू दे, आभाळागत माया तुझी आम्हावरी राहू दे, ऐरणीच्या देवा तुला थिंगी थिंगी वाहू दे, आभाळागत माया तुझी आम्हावरी राहू बहुते।
These people, once seen defecating in open space, are today witnesses to enter the newly built toilet blocks. Today, they are far away from all odds that they had faced in the past. Women can now feel relaxed and maintain their self-esteem. With overhead water tanks and additional underground tanks for these blocks, there was no scarcity of water. This further assisted in maintaining cleanliness and hygiene for the residents. As the caretaker of the toilet block is from the community, he made certain that its maintenance and sanitary conditions continued. Since he lived on the premises, he could keep watch day and night without much difficulty. These toilets also proved convenient for the occasional user who could pay and use the toilets. It was the caretaker's job to collect his levy. This additional amount further facilitated the maintenance of the blocks. Of course, this amount is not enough for proper maintenance as well as the salary of the caretaker. It got augmented by the NGOs who were responsible for construction and maintenance of these toilet blocks for the next 30 years.
यहाँ जो लोग यूजर्स लोग रहते हैं, पर फैमिली उनको कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं, उनसे जो कुछ पैसे आते हैं वो पैसे से हम इनको रन करते हैं। आप ऊपर में जो देख रहे हैं वहाँ पर में हमारे काम करने वाले लोग रहते हैं जो इनको डे टू डे वॉचिंग और क्लीनिंग का भी काम करते हैं, इसकी देख रेख भी करते हैं और साफ़ सफाई का भी काम करते हैं। इससे जो कुछ भी पैसा हमको कमी पड़ती है तो सोसाइटी दूसरी जगह से पैसे जनरेट करते हैं और वहाँ का पैसा यहाँ पर में खर्च करते हैं।
The success of government NGO partnership in Pune proved the efficacy of strategic partnerships. Blending of expertise from various quarters resulted in a powerful fusion of ideas and working skills. Pavements and footpaths that were constructed during the project for the convenience and safety of the slum residents today appear neat and germ-free. Now, when an infant takes his first step, he can hope to joyously strike his target with his tiny stumbles and baby falls.
हमारे यहाँ पहले की हालत तो बहुत ख़राब थी और यहाँ तक कि अब थोड़ी बहुत सुधारणा हो गई है। सबसे अच्छी सुधारणा तो यह हुई कि हमारे यहाँ के नाली सब बंद हो गए हैं और नाली बंद होकर अब अच्छा लग रहा है। जब नाली खुले थे तो तब हमारे यहाँ गंदगी इतनी फैल गई थी कि हमारे छोटे छोटे बच्चों को बुखार, मलेरिया ऐसा कुछ हो रहा था। मगर जब से ये नाली बंद हो गई, एक कमतरता तो अच्छी हो गई है कि और ठीक हो गई है, इसलिए आप बच्चे ज़्यादा तक बीमार नहीं पड़ते। और दूसरी बात यह है कि हमारे यहाँ शौचालय अच्छे नहीं थे। हम बाहर बैठे थे और हमारी लड़की का आबरू जरा ऐसे लग रहे थे कि हम बाहर जाके बैठना अच्छे नहीं लगता था। अब शौचालय बनने के बाद हमारे यहाँ वो भी ठीक हो गए हैं और हमारे आबरू जो है वो अब तो ढक गई है।
The pathway, now ringing with fun and laughter, was once a corridor of shattered childhood. Little boys and girls can now play with joy and weave dreams they hope will one day come true.
देखो देश बढ़ा है आगे, सीना ताने शान से, चारों ओर नई किरणों की फैली उजली धूप है। मेहनत के हाथों से निकला धरती का यह रूप है। सारा अंधकार है भागा अनुशासन के ज्ञान से, सभी काम में लगे हुए हैं खेत और खलियान में, पूरा देश लगा है भाई अब नतून अभियान में।
The project also recognized the need for an underground drainage system for the area so as to successfully meet the aim of the slum sanitation in its entirety. Properly managed potholes, effectively positioned near the houses, are today keeping them live in clean and fresh surroundings.
यहाँ तो बहुत कुछ मदद की है कारपोरेशन ने। तो यहाँ जैसे कि इसके शौचालय नहीं था, पहले तो बनाया था वो बहुत ख़राब था, अब नया बनाया है तो वो ठीक है। यहाँ के हमारे लोग सब उसकी देखभाल करते हैं, अच्छा उसको रखते हैं। जो हमारे लिए बनाया तो हमारा काम है कि उसको साफ रखना। और जो ये जो लाइन थी तो उसको भी अंडरग्राउंड कर दिया है, इसकी वजह से कोई मच्छर विच्छर कोई हमको उसकी तकलीफ बहुत कम हो गई है। अभी तो ठीक है, सब काम हमारे यहाँ तो ठीक से हो गया है महानगर पालिका का।
The Slum Sanitation project has been close to people's hearts as their views were heard and incorporated in the fold of the project. Men, women and children, old and young, all breathe the efforts of the Slum Sanitation projects. Now they dare to endeavor, to build and to aspire. They know with the new day will come new desires. Desires that will lead to fulfillment for a better, wholesome life.